When I first got into a Tesla, I didn't even know how to put it in drive, let alone know how to access any of the other features that might make the driving experience more enjoyable. So today we're going to be going over 15 things that I think you should know before you even get into a Tesla for the first time. The first thing on the list, and the most important to know, is how to put the car into drive, reverse, park, and neutral. All of the gear shifts will take place on the right-hand stalk. To put the car in drive, press the brake and then push down fully on that right stalk. To put the car in reverse, simply push up on the right stalk. To put the car in park, press the button at the end of the right stalk. Putting the car in neutral is one thing a lot of drivers actually don't know how to do, but it's super important to know. One time I was in a car wash and behind a Tesla, and the driver did not know how to put it in neutral, so it was just sitting there in park as the thing underneath it was trying to get the car moving. So I eventually had to get out of the car and go in and show him how to put it in neutral. It was a very awkward situation, so to put the car in neutral, simply half press in the opposite direction of the gear you're in. If you're in drive, then push the right stalk halfway up. If you're in reverse, press the right stalk halfway down. If you're in park, it doesn't matter which way you press it. While we're on the topic of car washes, Teslas also have a car wash mode. To access car wash mode, press the car menu button on the lower left of the touchscreen, then press service, then press car wash mode, and then enter car wash mode. What car wash mode does is it locks any automatic features or external things that could be affected by a car wash. If you're going through an automatic car wash, I recommend turning this on before you even get to the payment area. Then pull in like you would in any car. When the person tells you to put the car in neutral, press enable free roll on your touchscreen, and that will put the car in neutral for you. Once you get through the car wash, press exit car wash mode, put your car in drive, and pull out. Also from the service screen, you can see the tire pressure. An easier way to check your tire pressure from the home screen is to swipe left twice on the area that displays your music information. Speaking of tires, Teslas actually do not have a spare tire, so if you get a flat, you pretty much just have to rely on their roadside assistance to come and help you. The lack of a spare tire isn't all bad though. If you go to the trunk and look in the spot where a spare tire normally would be, you'll find an extra, decently sized storage compartment. So between this, the trunk, and the frunk, the Tesla has a good amount of storage. The fourth thing on the list is driver profiles and easy entry. Driver profiles are mostly helpful if you're going to have more than one person that's driving the car. If you're super tall, you're definitely going to want to take advantage of the easy entry. You can set up a new profile by pressing the person icon at the top of the touchscreen, pressing driver profile settings, and then add new driver. Once you have the profile set up, you can set all the car settings the way that you like, and the car will remember what your driving preferences are. Easy entry is essentially a profile that you can customize to make it easier to enter or exit the car. You can set the seat position and the steering wheel position to whatever position makes it easiest for you to enter. When you're seated and put your foot on the brake, the seat and steering wheel will automatically move back to the location that you prefer while driving. And then, when you're done driving, you can put the car in park and take your seatbelt off. Easy entry will activate again so that you can easily get out. I'm 6'9" and enjoy driving with the steering wheel low, so I absolutely love this feature. The next thing you should know is how to work the climate. A Tesla has no physical climate buttons or knobs like most cars, so you adjust everything from the screen. The first time I ever drove a Tesla, the climate was set on low, but I couldn't figure out how to adjust the climate, so the entire 30-minute drive I had to do with the AC just blasting on me. So to avoid that happening to you, know that all you have to do is press the arrows on either side of the temperature to easily adjust the automatic temperature. If you want more climate settings, simply press on the temperature at the bottom of the screen and it will bring up this page. From here, you can control things like heated seats, heated steering wheel, defrost, and even dog or camping mode. You can also access the rear climate controls from here to do things like turn on the heated seats for the back row. Now let's shift to the actual driving of the vehicle. We'll start with one of the most fun things about a Tesla, and that's the AutoPilot. Tesla has an option to turn auto steer on with one downward push of the right stalk, but in my opinion, I think keeping it set to 2 presses is the way to go. The reason for this is because I think traffic-aware cruise control is a lot better option than auto steer in some cases, such as driving on a windy road. If you have auto steer set to 1 press, then the traffic aware cruise control is no longer an option. So if you have auto steer set to 2 presses, then controlling AutoPilot is very simple. All you have to do is press down once on the right stalk to set traffic aware cruise control, or press down twice to engage auto steer. A bonus tip that I've figured out during my time driving is that the middle lane is usually the best lane to be in if you're on a 3-lane highway or bigger. The main time auto steer has trouble is when a lane widens from something like a merge. Auto steer wants to keep the car centered, so it will sometimes try to center the car in the middle of the merge lane unnecessarily. If you're in a 2-lane highway, the left lane is usually better. However, edge lanes can be scary if there are concrete barriers on the edge, especially if you're not comfortable with the auto steer yet. While we're on the topic of AutoPilot, I'll also mention that you can set an offset of the speed while you're in AutoPilot. All you have to do is go into the menu, press on AutoPilot, scroll down to offset, and then set your offset. You can set the offset by either an amount of miles per hour or by a percentage of the speed you're going. Also keep in mind that if you're driving on AutoPilot and the speed limit changes, you can tap the speed limit sign on the screen and it will automatically adjust the speed max for you. If you want to change your max speed manually, you can use the right scroll wheel on the steering wheel. You can do individual clicks per miles per hour, or you can do flicks of the scroll wheel to change it in 5-mile-per-hour increments. If you only have the basic AutoPilot, you do not have the option to switch lanes while you're in auto steer, so you will need to turn off auto steer in order to switch lanes. Luckily, you can just turn your blinker on, which will disengage auto steer, but it will keep the traffic aware cruise control active. So all you have to do is turn on your blinker, move to the other lane, and then double press the right stalk again to re-engage auto steer. A setting that I didn't initially turn on but actually really like is the auto blinker. You can turn that on by going to the menu, then press lights, and then press auto cancel. What the auto blinker does is use the camera to determine when it should turn the blinker off after activating. Without this turned on, you have to half press the blinker stalk for 3 blinks, or full press to turn on the blinker until you either turn it off or until you make a full turn. With the auto blinker turned on, you can do either a half press or full press, and it will keep the blinker on until you either change lanes, merge, or make a full turn. In my opinion, it actually does a pretty good job of knowing when to turn the blinker off. Also, at the end of the blinker stalk is a button that controls your wipers. If you half press this button, it will activate the wipers once. If you press the button in all the way, it will shoot out your windshield wiper fluid. Also, when you half press this button, it will bring up the wiper menu on the screen briefly so you can set the wipers how you want easily. You can also use the left scroll wheel to change the wiper speed by pressing it left or right while the menu is up on the screen so that you don't have to be fumbling around on the screen while it's raining. The next thing on the list is how to change the follow distance between you and the car in front of you. It took me a while to figure this out since they don't have an option to change it on the screen anywhere. In order to change your follow distance, you just need to press the right scroll wheel on the steering wheel either left or right. Pushing left will increase follow distance and pushing right will decrease it. This can play a big part in how smooth the ride is in AutoPilot. Usually I just leave it in 3 or 4, but you can change it depending on the situation that you're in. With Tesla navigation, you can set your home and work addresses. If you're driving along and want the Tesla to navigate back to your house, all you have to do is a quick swipe down from the navigate box and it will start navigating back to your house. You can also use voice commands to control your Tesla. To access voice control, press in on the right scroll wheel. You do not need to hold the button down. You can just press it real quick and then talk. You can do things like tell the Tesla to navigate to a certain location, or you can say, "My butt is cold," and it will turn on the heated seats for you. A lot of people worry about road trips in a Tesla, but you'll be happy to know that Tesla does a very good job at planning the trip out for you with necessary charging stops. However, I personally like stopping to charge at places where I can either walk around a store or eat. When looking at the map inside the Tesla, you can't see what businesses are around the superchargers, so instead of planning my trip on the Tesla screen, I plan it in the Tesla app beforehand where I can see a lot more details. Then I just send my planned trip to the Tesla and it will be loaded in next time I get into the car. When charging, there isn't always something else around that you can do, so that's when it's good to know about the entertainment menu. To access it, just press the 3 dots at the bottom of the screen. From here, you can access the arcade, which has games, and the theater, where you can access streaming platforms and watch movies or TV shows. You can also access the toy box from here, which has a lot of fun different things you can play around with.